All right. As many of you know, every year we pick a patient to tell their story, right, about their journey with Parkinson's. And before I introduce our patient today, our person today who's going to tell their story, I just want to say that, in the office when we see patients, a lot of times we're going through the nuts and bolts of symptoms and treating problems that come up. And I think I speak for myself and my colleagues when I say at the end of the day, I think about how amazing you guys are, like living with Parkinson's every day and just, crushing it. Some days are hard, some days are good, but I want you to know that we really think it's incredible what you do on a daily basis, and I think we don't probably say it enough when we see you in the office, but it's very true. So I'm going to introduce Marty Piazza, who I met a few years ago when he came to me in my office for symptoms he was having. And at the end of the visit, I said, I think you have Parkinson's. And I think possibly there was a sense of a little bit of relief at finally knowing maybe what was happening, but at the same time, a kind of like, oh no, just like all of our other patients with Parkinson's. But I think since that day, Marty has really taken all the challenges that Parkinson's has thrown his way in stride, right? Just like everybody else, there's been good times, there's been more difficult times, and he's really faced those head on and is a great example of somebody who has continued to live well with Parkinson's. So without further ado, Marty Piazza.
Thank you, Dr. Jacob. Good morning. When Dr. Jacob called me to see if I would make a presentation on living with Parkinson's, I immediately thought, no way, I don't want to do that. I'll worry about it all summer. I'll mess up, and I'm under enough pressure already. But the wiser side of me thought, I have to do it. It's my mission to share my experiences, especially when the news is good. I have to force myself. So here I am. We're going to start with a little background. I'm co-owner of a retail wine business called Piazza di Sepoli. I'm 67 years old, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 4 years ago. I was born and raised in Cincinnati, and my business career took me to New York City, where I worked on Wall Street for 10 years. Then, like many Cincinnatians who move away, my family and I decided that it was a good time to arrange for a move back home. We made this happen in 1988, and I worked for 12 years at Key Bank running their Cincinnati district. In 1988, I also started a wine retailing business with a good friend, Guy di Sepoli, who had also moved back to Cincinnati. For the next 12 years, he got the business going single-handedly while my career advanced at Key Bank. He often asked me when I was going to leave banking so we could grow the business, and I said that it was not so easy because the relationships you develop with your clients and colleagues become very important, and I never found a way to just come into work and say, I'm leaving, I'm getting in the wine business. But then in 2000, Key Bank went through a major restructuring, which gave me the opportunity to jump in full-time to the wine business. All right, we'll give you some idea of what the store looks like. That's our logo. That's out in front of the Madeira store. And I have to say, we had some great success in trying to create an Italian feel. And this is in a Kroger's parking lot, so I think it looks pretty nice. Here's the interior, which has an old world kind of feel to it. And this is our golden retriever, Nino. A friend of mine told me years ago that if you want to liven up a presentation, weave a dog into it somehow. And I saw that Dr. Jacob did that. You got my notes. All right. I'll talk to you more about the wine business in a minute, but it's necessary to tell you about something else first. One of the main motivators for us moving back to Cincinnati was that my mother had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 6 years earlier. We thought it would give her some positive distraction with the grandchildren around, and we could give my dad some help with the caregiving. She was an avid painter, beautiful and refined, but introverted with little interest in exercise. She lived for another 14 years. Many days were good, and many days not so good. I thought I'd give you an example of a few of her works. I'm going to pause on this one because that was the last painting that she finished in her life. And it was done about 7 years post-diagnosis. So one of my main messages for my experience with her is there's a lot of quality life waiting for us post-diagnosis. Now we will jump ahead to 2015. Our retail wine business, Piazza was going strong with 4 wine stores and 1 wine bar. Then one day in January 2015, I was walking home from a presentation I attended at UC. It was a very cold evening and I started to shiver. But I noticed something very odd. I was just shivering on my right side. Having watched my mother for 20 years, you can imagine what went through my mind. I was successful in calming myself and telling myself that I was just exaggerating. Besides, over the years, many medical professionals assured me that Parkinson's disease was not hereditary. I was living in ignorant bliss, but it worked. I didn't really worry about it after my mother passed away. Until May 2015, when I was on vacation in Florida, I noticed that my right leg was dragging. Then on June 2nd, I woke up with my leg shaking uncontrollably. There's no need to go into detail about the following 2 months, except to say I was despondent. My mind played the mental tapes of my mother's worst days. The smallest obstacles seemed insurmountable to me. My most common thought was, I can't do that. I didn't want to be seen, and I missed over 2 months of work. I would visualize the wine business crumbling little by little and everything we had built falling apart. When I think about it, it was clear that I was dealing mainly with the mental systems, trying to get a grip on how to move forward. My wife and children tried all kinds of techniques to snap me out of my dark mood. On one occasion, my wife vehemently told me, "You're not going to have your mother's Parkinson's disease. Yours may be better or worse, but it'll be different." Shortly thereafter, a light bulb went off, and I realized I had some influence over my Parkinson's experience. The script for the future was not yet written and cast in bronze. Around this time, the rebuilding process began. Maybe the medications finally started working. All I know is that one morning in August 2015, I woke up with the strong feeling that I can do that, and I still have that feeling today. I was given a second chance, and I was committed to making the best of it. Given my personality, I was convinced that it would be best not to try and hide my condition. That would use up a lot of my finite energy, and I didn't have to worry about what my boss thought, since I was the boss. So I let customers know about it from time to time when the opening presented itself. That openness led to many new levels of friendship, and it gave me the chance to meet others with Parkinson's disease. It also prompted me to serve as an example to those who have been recently diagnosed. We average close to 1,000 customers per month, and our vision before Parkinson's was that everyone leaves the store in a better mood than when they entered. Post-Parkinson's, I added to that vision to give the public an awareness of the disease and how one can lead a very fulfilling life in spite of it. If a person should be diagnosed with Parkinson's, I want someone to tell them that Marty Piazza has it. He seems to be doing quite well. Why don't you stop by the store and talk to him? I want to help them take some of the fear out of the disease. Meanwhile, my partners, there weren't slides for those. I thought I skipped some. Meanwhile, my partners and I needed to shore up the defenses of our business. There were vultures circling around the store looking for a fire sale opportunity. Luckily, after I started to feel better, I started to look better too. I can thank my neurologist, Dr. Kara Jacob, and also Sarah Palmer and her team at Forever Fitness for that. One day, a young man came in and asked if the business was for sale. He had heard that the owner was seriously ill. When I told him I was the owner, he blushed and said he must have gotten his information wrong. We did end up selling our Glendale location to pay off all our debt and moving my other partner, Steve, down to work with me in Madeira. Since then, our business has run remarkably well. We have even had some record years, and I have worked regular hours for 4 years now, and I love being back in my store. Here are some things that I've learned to do over the last 4 years to manage my symptoms and to make life as good as it can be. They might not all be right for you, but I hope at least some will be. Exercise. It's good to know that the professionals agree on its benefits. Often I have to force myself, but I'm rewarded with feeling better. Rock steady boxing and other exercise classes keep you on a regular schedule and provide you with some social output. Here is my main message for the presentation. Don't waste any good days worrying about what might or might not happen to you down the road. Savor every good day you get, and I can assure you, from my experience, there are a lot of them. If I feel bad, I wait 20 to 30 minutes and I usually start feeling better. That seems kind of simplistic, but as we're told that Parkinson's is a degenerative disease, it would lead me to think, oh, it's progressing, it just took a step down. And 9 out of 10 times, it's something else that's bothering me, and so I say, wait 20 to 30 minutes before worrying. I've never been let down. Deep, slow breaths can really help calm me, but I shouldn't wait until I'm all worked up. They work slowly, but they work. I try to take my Cinemet on an empty stomach, and at the same time, every day. I was fortunate to be able to participate in a clinical trial headed up by Dr. Espe, and I found it very intriguing. I look forward to more of those. For now, I just provide quarterly input to Michael J. Fox Insight program and 23andMe. Lastly, creative visualization can be a powerfully positive distraction. All my friends know that my motto is, if it's Italian, it's better. And my creative visualization transports me back to a little town in Sicily on the eastern shore. And it is a positive distraction for me and helps me get through difficult periods here and there. But the true vision that keeps me going is managing my symptoms well and staying out in the community in order to show the world that there are many quality days ahead and that there is a lot of fulfilling life after a Parkinson's diagnosis. Hopefully this will take some of the fear out of the disease for those who see me, especially my children and grandchildren who are here in front. I've gotten to know many of you over the last 4 years, and my respect for you is great. The work you do is heroic, and it inspires me to always do my best. Thank you for this opportunity of sharing my story.